Hey, Ron Newcomb here with the IndieCoach Podcast. I'm here with my new friend, Angela Liu. We met on LinkedIn because I would have been very curious lately about vertical content. And Angela has been crushing it and doing some things. And so I reached out to her. I saw a few of her posts, and she was kind enough to jump on a call with me. So today we're going to talk a little bit about vertical and then anything else she would like to get into. I'm just grateful that you agreed to join me and share a little bit of your experience. But for those people that don't know, including myself, because I know we're just getting to know each other as well, can you give a little film background for yourself to kind of maybe set the stage for us?
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Ron, for inviting me to your podcast.
Absolutely.
So I come from a film background. I also did reality TV before, and starting 7 years ago, I started doing voiceover as well. So I had a pretty a round of experience in this entertainment world. And then when 2023, a friend of mine asked me if I can be a casting director for a thing called Vertical.
Hmm.
And I was like, what is that? So I took some look of some very successful Chinese verticals and found out, okay, this is a new platform, but sure, let me try. Because I back then I just come out of the mom cave and trying to get back in my game into this film world. Um, so I'll give it a try as a casting director. It's like a boot camp, it's a crazy schedule,
Yeah.
but then a few days in the pre-production and they actually fired the line producer. I become the line producer.
Oh boy.
2 days into the production, they fired the director. So I become the director for that show.
Nice.
Luckily, because I was casting right through the entire script, I understand all the characters, and I was the one from the top to bottom. I know
Yeah.
everything about the production.
Right.
So it makes sense. Also, I come from a directing and producing background. Just because back then I want to get back in the game, trying to start with a smaller role. But
Sure.
but I guess just land on my lab, and that was pretty good experience and crazy. It was very, very crazy.
Yeah.
I remember I think it was 127 pages.
Oh my
We
word.
filmed in 9 or 10 days. It's a little blurry, but um, every scene we film like a battle.
Hmm.
I'm filming right here, and I'm thinking about the next scene where we're gonna film, like what the coverage will be, what the blocking will be. Um, but overall, it's a very ex good experience. I cast the biggest vertical star nowadays. That was her very first vertical. Her name is Nicole Maddox.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, she's very, very talented. Um, and I also made a bunch of very good friends. And also these actors, they stay together as very good friends as well. And
Yeah.
later on, I use two of the original cast in another vertical I did, and that one did pretty successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I have friends that are now getting into verticals through acting, just because that's kind of what's paying right now. And so many people are starting to do it. The demand is high right now. And so people have been doing quite well in that space. And so I do think it's expanding and also in creating a bit of more prestige around it. So the two of the biggest platforms, from what I understand, are based out of China. China seems to be about 2 years ahead of us in the vertical format. I spoke to a gentleman today in India that's also doing quite a bit of content, and they have several apps, and that also seems to be doing extremely well. So it's not just a China thing that they're trying to prove out in the States. I do think it's happening globally in other certain areas. I think that kind of proves it out. In fact, this guy had done 65 microdramas. And so, and he's working all the time. Uh, have you yourself dealt with kind of the multilingual and cross-cultural skills that you need that might have influenced the kinds of stories that you want to tell in the vertical space. I talked to another guy that I did an interview with, Chris Wiki, and he was talking about how, or it might have been another show I saw, but they were talking about how you take a successful show out of China, basically, and then localize it to like the American market to see if there might be, a story here. It doesn't always translate, but it's kind of proof of concept, at least. It proves out the story element. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? Are you seeing those kinds of things in the vertical space?
Oh yeah, 100%. Actually, till today, still a lot of vertical companies, they are basically just getting the successful Chinese IP
Hmm.
because it's already market proven.
Right,
It will 100% make their money. They just need to localize it into the American or Western market
right.
and then just basically make a remake of it.
Yeah,
And this is basically most of the vertical company are doing. You do see some of the vertical company now they realize, okay, all these tropes being telling over and over, and the fans actually getting a little like we've seen this so many times. Where are the new stuff? Um, and right now I'm working for a platform. It's called Flare Flow. And we are trying to get some fresh ideas and more innovative stories
yeah,
to freshen up the whole space.
yep,
Um, yeah. And because I speak Chinese and English, it's a big advantage because when I was working with the Chinese writers, I can actually read the Chinese scripts and understand,
yeah,
okay, this part is more like the Chinese culture we can understand. But if even localize it, might not translate the whole emotion because of the culture. So it's a big plus for me to understand the plot and character.
yeah,
And also, sometimes they only have a log line synopsis, character bio. They haven't really fully localized it. But I can jump ahead. I can just start doing pre-production just based on the Chinese script or character descriptions.
yeah.
So
No, that's great. And you're talking right at my alley. I've been writing a lot lately. I'm actually taking some of my scripts and turning them into novels. And so I've really been talking, or reading a lot about that. And they talk a lot about genre tropes and that so many people when they hear tropes, they think it's bad. It's not necessarily bad. A cliche is bad, but a trope is just like things that need to happen, like there's a love interest, or and they're going to lose the love and then they're going to find the love later, and these kinds of things. But the obvious genre that's hitting right now is the romance genre. That's the obvious. But are you seeing genres, or what genres are you seeing at least, that are trying to see if there might be an appetite in the vertical space? Are there certain genres that you're seeing, and are there genres that you think might be good in that space?
I'm seeing right now, people still be a little, mm, still a little conservative in the space yet because nobody wants to be the first person take the risk because it is a lot of money to dump in one, not only just for the production to promote one, that's the most of
Yeah,
money go to.
that's what I'm seeing. Right.
Yeah, yeah. So people are playing safe. Everybody's waiting on that one person or one platform to make something different. Flare Flow, that's our app, Flare Flow. We're trying to like gradually try some of the new shells, but same tropes. But for example, what about an age gap?
Hmm.
So that's an older woman to a younger man.
Hmm.
And now some of the shows are trying to do like older man, younger woman, different kinds of professions,
Hmm.
but still using the age gap as a selling point. But gradually we can put a little comedy in there, or we can put a little murder mystery in there and see how that goes. And
Mm.
if we start making money, maybe we can like gradually migrate to like a full murder mystery
Yeah.
or like a full-on comedy.
Yeah.
So people are testing because this is such a big space, especially a lot of American company now are going into the space and they 100% will start producing their own content.
Sure.
And we are very curious to see where they're going to lead this space to.
Yeah.
I talked to some Chinese platform, people from some Chinese platform, and they're super curious. Also, they're thinking, do these American companies, they understand, okay, this is not only just a production. We are using so many different ways to promote the show. We're like buying ads all over internet. And sometimes we even have offline commercials and like offline billboards. And these are the traditional way to promote a show. But for vertical space, these are the new kind of promoting. It's very interesting. Like, I don't know how much the American company will dump money into marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, curious to see.
Yeah, me too. I mean, again, I was interviewing somebody else and they were talking about, the budgets are one thing, but where the money gets spent is in the marketing. And in fact, there was a Chinese company that tried to break into the American market, but they wiped out because they spent so much on marketing and didn't get the return that they needed. So they ended up, folding and going under, which is never great. Can you talk to me a little bit about what's the difference between a micro drama and like a full narrative feature? What changes happen? Pacing, framing, structure, that kind of thing.
Well, just like you mentioned, the pacing is normally is a lot faster because let me tell you a fact that our boss went to Harvard, and they I don't know if they published this study, but the average people's attention span right now is 7 seconds.
Yeah.
That is very short compared to a movie. You need to set up, you need to have the let people familiar with the environment. But in vertical, first second, we put you in the spot, like the emotion. So vertical, down to the very core of it, actually is emotion leading the story.
Hmm.
And it's basically is to release your dopamine. Every few minutes, have a dopamine release for you. And if you get hooked on and you want that dopamine hit, you need to watch the next episode. Most times, vertical is a minute per episode. Sometimes before the paywall, we give you a little bit more. Like the first episode might be 2.5. Just because we need to, like a movie, we need to set it up. Or we have the action happen right away, and then we do a flashback, what leads to it.
Gotcha.
So compared to movie, a lot faster. The acting is more exaggerate, but depends on the app or the producer, director, the taste. I do see some of the apps they have more grounded acting, and audience also love it. The very good example is Candy Jar is another app. They use a lot of their own IP. It's a German owned company. Um, and they're acting very grounded. I have friends who directed one very successful right now. It's called Private Lesson. Um, Very familiar story, but the acting, the casting, the pacing is more like a film. Also, they film on 60 by 9, just so you know. So they also distribute the movie version on a different app, so they can watch on a bigger screen. It's a very interesting model. Some of the Chinese company haven't really picked up yet because they're not really targeting the moviegoers. They're targeting internet users.
Yeah.
targeting women between around 20 to 45, 50 women.
Hmm.
A lot of them are stay-home moms, and they have very fragmented time to watch something. Sometimes they don't want to watch reels, but they pick up a story with a hot guy with abs and with
Hmm.
a steamy intimacy, and that may be part of the reason it gets like very popular among this age and demographic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the demographic in China and other locations as well? I assume it would be.
China has so many different verticals.
Hmm.
It's actually facing everybody. Like different, we have very, very successful male-facing verticals, and younger people, older people, many types of verticals, but it's a little bit difficult to translate into American market or Western market because of the culture difference, because of how we live our lives. Like in China, everybody now has a phone, no matter your social status. So if you don't own a TV or if you don't own a computer, you have a phone. And it's natural to watch it vertically, so most people watch their shows like that. And busy people are a lot more busier than Americans, so they watch during their little downtime. But one episode done, let me continue working. And a lot of guys who watch like the Chinese style superhero mainly happen in the ancient China. Everybody dressed up pretty, and the guy saved the girl, or the guy don't save the girl, but he has very ambitious idea of taking over the world or save the world. Um, yeah, it's a different culture. People trying to do adaptation into English version. I haven't seen anything very successful yet to gain male viewership.
Yeah, I've been reading that China's been seeing a little bit of action or some traction with action films or verticals. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of can translate over here. I do a lot of fantasy and sci-fi, and I'm working on a Jack the Ripper kind of murder mystery vertical right now, which has been a lot of fun, but I don't know if it's going to translate or not. I tried to put a little bit of a uh, love story in there because personally, I love a good love story. James Cameron also said the same thing, put a love story in all your films. He seems to have done well. So
Mm.
I just thought I'd mimic him. What tools or software, other applications has become helpful to you within like the vertical producing space? Is there anything specifically, or is it more traditional to film? What are you using?
Um, well, I'm cheap, so um, I like collaboration softwares. The free one is Google Sheet. I use it for budgeting. I use it for a lot of pre-production. But I use Studio Binder to break down my script.
Yeah,
I used Celtex that was pretty good as well. That was good for script collaboration,
yep,
also break down scripts.
yep,
And there's a new one called Think Crew. It's relatively cheaper, very powerful, but because I think the developer is a one-man team and might be glitchy sometimes. And I jump back to Studio Binder. Studio Binder glitchy as well, but it does have all the tools I need. You just have to pay almost $100 a month. Very, very expensive, and they barely had any customer service.
yeah, gotcha. Yeah, that does kind of seem to be a bit of a trend, unfortunately. And yeah, I still use Google for a lot of stuff, but I'm always keeping my eyes out for something that could be advantageous, particularly with, the onboarding of AI with a lot of things. I've been looking at like, is that worth it? Can it get me a little further down the road? Maybe it doesn't do all of it, but it can get me and kind of speed up time. Can you talk to me about kind of the How do the platforms make money? What's the financing life cycle of a vertical?
Okay. For platforms to make money in verticals, let me think. Um, One, very obviously, you pay for the vertical as the audience. Every time, there are different ways, right? Subscription, like for weekly, monthly, yearly, or you just buy coins and if I unlock the episode, I watch it, I don't like it, I'm done. That's one way. Another way is how to attract these new audience who never watch vertical on our platform to our platform is to put out ads all over social media. And if they click on the show they want, they click on the link, lead them to the store, download, and right to the show they were watching.
Gotcha.
And this way counts as I think it's called CPI, clip per install.
Okay.
And those clips are very important for making the show as well. When we are writing the script, we know these are the moments can attract audience to our app to watch them. And if you as the investor, and that might be a portion of what you get if you invest in the show, but that is more complicated. I don't want to get to it. And that might be like a talk in for the business team. Another way is to sell the vertical to other platforms.
Okay.
And that's pretty straightforward. Like 3 months already exhaust all my audience. And then I think it's time to sell it to other two, three, four different platforms. And the price depends, but at least I will make my money back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you, when you, as the producer, you go and raise $200,000, you go and do your vertical. You don't raise the
I
money,
don't.
the platform pays for it.
The platform, yes.
Okay, so you pitch the platform, they say, great, let's do it. They pay for it, you execute, you deliver. Do you get any back end, or when you sell that to other platforms, do you also get funding there or?
No. Now 90% of verticals in the market are directly coming from the platform. They have their own writing team. Sometimes they own their own IPs and they translate into a script. And they go find vendors, production companies. They will give you the script and just go make it. Or um, other platforms, they will be, okay, what do you think about the script? Not good? Let's change it up and make it better. Some platforms are open to that and then give it to the production and make it. Sometimes they have producers from the platform being on set with the vendor and just to make sure they understand the whole story, the characters, and have all the shots we written in the script. Some of the writers really specific. They will even write out, I need this to be a close up, a punch in, a like a push into their face, or like some very specific emotions. Sometimes, it's because of the translation. We need to point out this is exactly what we need. And as an on-set producer, you have to make sure our vendor understand. So different ways. And sometimes the vendor, after the physical production, they will be done. And the platform will take all the dailies, all the materials back to their own house or hire a different vendor to edit. Sometimes the vendor does it all. They just give you first cut, second cut, and you guys give notes, and we will deliver a final product. It all depends, different kinds of collaborations.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I think it's kind of so new right now that everybody's still kind of figuring it out as well, it seems to me. When you pitch vertical concepts, is it per platform or are you also seeing brands starting to get involved? Are you seeing outside investors that are curious about any of that? What are you kind of seeing in the landscape of it?
A lot of people are curious. But people who host money, they know it's risky. And they 100% like have been doing their research and been talking to people and
Yeah.
they've been careful.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm on I am more on the production side, but these talk will happen like during the business side. Our business department definitely talked to a bunch of investors who are interested and want to get into the space. But that's their talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, sorry, what was the other question?
So it really is also about are you starting to see brands
Oh,
getting
Brent.
involved in, things that in films that used to be something, it still kind of can be from time to time, but I just wonder in the vertical space, are you all starting to see, yeah, just branding trying to get in there?
Branding, in the US, I haven't really seen any. I think they're also trying to be careful because vertical, starting from 2023 till now, a lot of them are way too cheesy, or some of them don't really hold a right moral, to be honest. And the brands don't want to get into the space till this space is getting more healthier.
Hmm.
But definitely in China. They have collaborations with brand and they even wrote entire story around the brand. For example, they did one for Starbucks. It's a time travel movie. I mean, time travel vertical is not a movie. Um, Also, they've done one for KFC. So they definitely has the potential, but that talk was starting what happened in the development, starting from then, and we'll have to have a like a business team who work probably here in the US to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you kind of see the space going in the next 2 to 5 years? What opportunities do you see might be out there for a producer that could be listening?
I feel like definitely reach out to different platforms or a producer who work in the platforms if you want to get into the space. Because in the US, it's been 2 years, but it's still kind of just started. And SAG is getting to
Yeah,
the space.
sure.
We actually had meetings with SAG before, and their rules kind of stopping us to kind of lost faith of using SAG people. But now they're trying to budge a little bit. We'll see how the deal looks. It definitely opened up the entire talent pool. For the
Yeah,
entire talent pool, that would be amazing. And to be honest, a lot of these lead actors rate are going crazy. By SAG going into the space might regulate it a little bit. I see it's a good thing. I do see other unions come in, but because it's such low budget, they will have to work around our budget, work with our budget just so they can continue working. I know the space is kind of sad right now for a lot of friends. We have friends who had to do like DoorDash just to survive. It's kind of sad. And, people have been working for 20, 30 years. And vertical is actually feeding people and putting food on the table. I
yeah.
think it's a very, very good thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I have a good, very close friend of mine, who's a night, well seasoned professional actor, and he wasn't going to get into the space for a while. People have been trying to ping him for the last 2 years, and one of his buddies was like, "Man, I'm making such good money. You got to give it a shot, and it's consistent right now. So why not try to consider it? I definitely would. What are you seeing some of the biggest mistakes or misconceptions from particularly American filmmakers in this vertical space? What are some misconceptions?
Hmm. By not understanding the audience,
Hmm.
by not knowing who are our audience and what do they want and what attract eyeballs.
Yeah.
Um, it is difficult because as a I'm come from the film world. I love movies and love movies about like personal expressions, about deep meanings. But vertical, because of the the format, is basically just get the instant gratification and straightforward emotion. Then a lot of filmmakers coming from the film world, they still want to do that, still want to do like deep meanings, or like, for example, doing space movies. But then when they don't understand the audience, wanting are the connections, are the looks between the two characters falling in love, then some of the genres will be really difficult
Yes.
to make or
Hmm.
to feel. It's basically a platform to feel anger, feel disgust, feel love, feel even lust, right? Some of the movie that you don't feel right away.
Hmm.
And audience right now, I don't like it for 3 seconds, I swipe away. So gotta understand what the audience want. Go watch a bunch of successful verticals. They might not your taste, but if you want to get into the space, definitely understand why they're successful and also understand the dark side of human being. I'm the type of producer or director. I want to make this space better. I don't want to see brainless bullying or humiliation against women. I don't think it's necessary. We just want to watch some sweet stories, something make us excited, right? But why these bullying always get views? It could be rage bait. It could be just people are dark. They want to see something make them angry, or they have the dark side of them. They get off of it, right? They want to see them. So I do believe as filmmakers, understand the audience first, but also have a little integrity trying to make the space better.
Hmm.
Better stories with good emotion, like love stories, emotional love stories that could leave the space, but put a different shell in it. You can still have space story,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
space is just a shell. You need the core. The core still love. The core still they need to be together, or they need to be like the enemies and then fall in love. You see the tension between them. That's what audience want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you for that. Yeah, that's good stuff. I do like what you're saying about it's a format for feeling something, which is definitely something that I see. If someone is listening right now and wants to start producing vertical content tomorrow, what's a piece of advice you would give them? So you have a producer, they're a seasoned producer, they're in LA or wherever, and they've been making movies for 20 years, and they go, I'm going to try this vertical space thing out tomorrow. What would you tell them?
Mhm. I can't just give one advice. Um, like I said, understand the audience. Um, make sure you budget. Make sure whatever the script you got or you're writing is under a certain budget.
Yeah,
So you're 100% not gonna go over if you really want to make money.
yeah.
It's hard to make money for a crew or vendor in this space, to be honest. But actors, yes, especially if they're leads, yes, they make a lot of money.
Mhm.
Um, and hire really, really trustworthy and efficient people.
Mhm.
Best hire people who have been in vertical before. If you are a producer haven't gotten to the vertical, hire people who's been in it. Hire people who directed it, so they can kind of lead you into the space. One or two production after you can get on your own feet and understand how fast it could be.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That's, strong wisdom there. What what are you working on right now that excites you, and how can people support you? Where would they go to find Angela's work?
Right now, I'm waiting on greenlit. We have a whole greenlight system. So I'm waiting on some of the scripts come over, like fall on my lab and see which one will fall in my lab. But I'm really excited about some ideas I have that I've been pitching to our head of development. Um, Maybe we're trying to do some series like season one, two, three, using the same people,
Hmm.
the same vertical stars, and create stories for them. Then they can bring friends, bring other vertical stars to show up in each season to tell a very unique story. Or like all the seasons, they kind of interconnect to each other. I think that really excites me. And if you guys want to find me, just reach out to my email.
Awesome. Well, Angela, I appreciate our conversation. And of course, I appreciate you all listening and watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment so that Angela and I know you listened in. It does help the channel also, but I believe we're good to conclude our conversation we had today on verticals with Angela Liu. And remember, nothing is wasted. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.